You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another driver's edition on Beyond the Wheel podcast, and it's Sean and Kenny coming back to you with another episode. And first off, I want to start off by asking Kenny, how was the Winnebago rally this year?
It was a lot of fun. We had a little bit of rough weather the first 2 days. We're in Iowa, midsummer, just end of July. So our first 2 days were really hot. And then the last 3 days really cooled off, and they were nice where we could be outside the entire day without having to try to look for cover or anything like that. We had, I believe the final number was right around 500 and some RVs. So about 1,000 people in attendance for the rally, which is down from previous years, but I feel like that's just that's kind of the norm for all these shows anymore. That I really feel like they are competing with social media. They're also competing with an ability to go online and check up on people with Instagram and and even just FaceTime people. I think back in the day, it wasn't, difficult, or I should say it was difficult to get face-to-face time with somebody, and you would have to drive and see them in person. Nowadays, with FaceTime and video chatting, I think people don't feel the need to see people in person like they used to, if that makes sense. So I think that plays a little bit into the down in numbers. But it was great. We had entertainment every night. We had a happy hour every night. I did something that I've never done before, and I'm very proud of how I might even put this in the show notes. I did I think it was called a sip and paint, and you drank wine and you paint it. I don't think I've painted since like kindergarten, and I'm not even sure if that would count as painting. But they had an instructor there, and they would come around and they were refilling our wine glass, and you tried to copy what the instructor was doing, section by section. And he did say, if you wanted to go off script and do your own thing, that was fine. And I gotta say, like in the very beginning, my painting was looking rough. In fact, somebody was walking past me and they looked over my shoulder and they started laughing at my painting. And I agree with them. I mean, it just looked horrible. But the nice thing about paint is that, like, if things are going wrong with your paint, you can almost erase it. You can change the coloring. You can just paint over what you painted, in a sense, to a degree. And I did that a few times over. And then I even had to tweak stuff. So it was like a road and a pathway. And I couldn't figure out how to get this path or this road to kind of end naturally. So I painted a tunnel for it to go into. I did a lot of cover up. And to be honest, it looked better right before I finished. So I finished by adding some trees. I already had trees, and I was like, I need a couple more trees, and I should have just left it alone and not added these 3 extra trees, because I think it looked really nice before I added these 3 extra trees. The 3 extra trees, to me now, like I said, I'll put this in the show notes, just look out of place, and I should have left those trees out of there. I think it looked much more natural without those trees. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've never done anything like that before. The other nice thing that I always enjoy is that I get to do a bike ride with James and Steph from the Fit RV. And James and we race each other every year at the rally. James does not use an e-bike. I don't think James is technically a fan of e-bikes, although he gets the idea of them and why they're important for a lot of people. So he likes the fact that he can beat me. Spoiler alert, he beats me. Even though I'm on an e-bike, he beats me every single time. And it's not even by a little bit. Really, all we're racing to see is if I can, at some point, close the gap. James is on his road bike and he's got little meters on his bike that he can tell how much power he's putting to his wheel. And he does a little over 1,000 watts of power to his rear wheel. I believe my e-bike motor is 500 watts. So he's easily, doubling my e-bike power. He's also capable of going up to about 32 miles an hour on his road bike just by pedaling. And even with my e-bike assist, the most I ever got was 22 miles an hour. And I kind of hit it. And that was it. I wasn't like hitting that 22 for a long period of time where he's able to sustain that. But the happy hours are a lot of fun. And like I said, James and Steph are there. A lot of Winnebago ambassadors are there. Ones that we do know. I don't think there was any new ambassador that we met, but I will say Traveling Robert was there this year, and he was there 2 years ago too. So I've met him. I met Robert a few times, but this is the first time that I really had a chance to chat with him for a long period of time or on multiple days. And he's a really, really nice guy. I even said to him, at the end of the rally when we were all packing up and leaving, I said, I'm glad we had. I don't know why we never had time in the other times that we've met, but Sabrina and I really had a nice amount of time to spend with him and get to know him, and we had a great time chatting with him. He's a pretty interesting guy.
You also did a presentation, right?
I did a presentation on the benefits of solar and lithium, and I was joined by one of the product planners from Winnebago. I thought that presentation went really well. I'm not normally a person to stand up on stage and give a presentation. I used to get nervous all the time, but I think what happened, Sean, is from you and I doing like the live shows at the FMCA must have loosened me up a little bit because I wasn't nervous even a little bit. And I remember, 5 years ago, and you would have had a hard time getting me to go up on stage and to talk in front of people. But yeah, it went really smooth. I wasn't nervous at all. People came up to us afterwards and thanked us for the information. I really enjoyed doing the presentation. I would do it again, and that's something I wouldn't think that I would ever say. But yeah, I would definitely do like a live presentation before. And I think it also helped. So that was on Wednesday. And on Sunday afternoon, I was up on stage for a first timers welcome panel to kind of answer questions about, what to expect. My thing's always like a lot of food and drinking. So I make sure everybody knows where to go for food and where to go for drinks. And I was already up on stage for that. And that was kind of a low threat, low pressure. So I think that kind of helped me ease into the fact that I was going to be up on stage a couple days later too. But I will say, Sabrina, I drank a lot. We met a lot of nice people, a lot of new people. For me, going back to these rallies, I love meeting back up with friends that we've had met in the past and that we keep in touch with, and then we get to see them, hang out with them, do the happy hours with. There were a lot of games this year. They had pool tables and axe throwing and ping pong and pinball. They added a lot more activity. They did a lot more lawn garden or lawn games, I guess you would call them. So horseshoes. And I felt like it was a much more active, and I think they're trying to appeal to a younger crowd, which I think would make sense. I'm still waiting for. I would like to see volleyball. I would like to play. I haven't played volleyball in years. I'm sure. I say right now that I would like to play a game, but I'm sure the day after I will be in so much pain that I'd be sorry that I played. But I think volleyball would be a lot of fun at one of these events, especially because, like I said, the weather just got so much nicer as the week went on. It would have been a good weather for a nice outdoor volleyball game. But they also had, a concert every night, live music every night. So we went down there for that. I kind of messed up actually. The one night was disco night, and we were supposed to dress up in our disco outfits, and somehow I missed this memo, and I did not. Sabrina and I love getting dressed up for things, and we totally missed it. But our friends were dressed. Howard and Caitlin from New State Nomads, they went all out and got all dressed up. They looked great. And there, our friends Chris and Noel, they got all dressed up and looked great. And there were plenty of people that did get dressed up, and I kind of felt bad. I didn't feel left out so much, but I felt like, oh, this was a nice little team activity. And Sabrina and I kind of dropped the ball that we didn't get dressed up for disco night. But it was a lot of fun to watch everybody else dressed up for disco night, and they did like a little contest. And then they also do RV Family Feud, which is a really fun live show. James hosts that show. He kind of takes on the persona of, oh man, I can't remember his name. Who's the Family
Ken
Guy? Or I
Jennings?
mean, no, Family Feud
Oh,
guy
Family
from,
Feud.
yeah,
The Feud.
from the 70s, 80s. He was on Hogan's Heroes. People in the people listening right now are like, how can you not remember his name? And I cannot remember his name, but he takes on that
I
persona.
can see his face. I can see his face now.
Me too. And I Richard Dawson. Does that sound
Yes.
something? Maybe?
Yep.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
So he
it.
takes
Yep.
he takes that persona, and James is really good at working a crowd. And the questions were fun. The answers were even more fun. You know, if you ever watch Family Feud, the sometimes people's answers are just kind of just out there. But it was great fun too. Overall, it was a great week. So it's an event that Sabrina and I always look forward to. I was walking around with somebody, and I was saying hi to people, and I was saying hi to these people with my first name, and I was walking with somebody that I just met at this year, and he said to me, he's like, "Wow, so you know a lot of people out here." I said, "Yeah, I probably know about 100 people by their first name just from coming out here for so many years." Sabrina and I have been going every year since 2017, so we get to meet up, back up with a lot of the same people, and we get to make new friends. Actually, met Charlie Grace. She was here at this show, and for a lot of people, that name might not sound familiar, but Charlie Grace was a writer for Family Guy, and she wrote the episode Cool Whip, and which is a very popular episode. And my brother, my younger brother, is a huge Family Guy fan. So I asked if I could get a selfie with her, and I sent it to my brother. He knew who she was. I really didn't know who she was until I started talking with her. But she owns an Echo, so she was just there. She's just there for the rally. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think we meet a lot of interesting people. We meet a lot of nice people at the rallies. We exchange phone numbers. Sometimes we exchange addresses, and they say, if you're coming through Nebraska, if you're coming through, wherever, come on and stop by or stop in the area at least. And, we can meet up and do dinner and stuff like that. So it's a great community. I think it's always a lot of fun to be out there.
Yeah, I remember one time we weren't at a rally, but we were staying in Tucson and at the KOA, and we were in one of the hot tubs. And in the hot tub with us was one of Julie's favorite authors.
Oh, I remember you telling me this. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's pretty cool when that happens.
Yeah, it's great when you get out and meet new people, and sometimes you even meet celebrities.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. But you got to get out there. You got to get in your RV. You got to travel. You got to go see the country and meet people. That's the thing that you miss from the social media or the FaceTime. You're I wouldn't say you're stuck, but you're limited to who you already know. You're not going to meet new people. I don't feel like you will meet new people that way. I think meeting new people happens in person.
So speaking of traveling and summertime, it's really hot right now, especially where I'm at, and I think where you are too.
Yeah.
So we wanted to offer some tips on staying cool.
Yeah. I'm in New
And the first
Mexico.
one is, yeah, the first one is smart for you because you're a little bit higher elevation right now. So location and elevation in the summertime and in the winter to stay warm, I guess.
Yeah. I'm at 3,500 elevation. I need to be higher. I saw Peter Holcomb today on Instagram, speak of social media, and he is at 15,000 feet. So he's in like a winter coat, and it's snowing and icing out. So he's got it right. But 15,000 feet, I don't know how long you can actually hang out at that elevation. I don't think that's something that you can like sustain for a long period of time. Maybe you can. I don't know, Sean. You probably know better than me, but I
I have
feel
no idea.
I feel like 8,000 feet, 9,000 feet. I have a hard time to breathe. But yeah, he's
I
way
know
up there.
we
But
were up on when we were up on Pikes Peak, I that's 14,000
yeah,
and I had a headache within
me
like
too.
10 minutes. So,
Same. Yeah, totally the same. Yeah, so elevation to a degree, I guess. And even my elevation here right now in New Mexico, I'm at 3,500 feet. I'm in Albuquerque. It's still getting up to about 100 degrees, but it's cooler. I'll put in quotes, cooler than what it would be in Phoenix right now. Phoenix is hitting like 112, 114 or something like that. So definitely location, elevation, if you can move, get your coach somewhere, plan out your summer to be in cooler climate, whether that be elevation or just location. I think even if possible, orientation of the way that your RV is parked can play a big difference. I don't know if this is so much true for other vehicles, but I'm in a Class A motorhome with that large windshield in the front, and that can turn into like a greenhouse effect pretty much. So if the sun is setting and the sun sets in front of our RV and is on our front windshield, it warms up the entire coach from front to back. So for us, our best position, we have two. One is sun setting directly behind our RV, or the sun setting on our passenger side so that we can use our awning. Our worst positions are sun setting directly in front of us at the windshield, or setting on the driver's side where we have no awning and that sun is just warming up the entire side surface of our RV. I'm not sure, do you feel like that in a fifth wheel, Sean? Does positioning your fifth wheel change for you, maybe where your bedroom's located or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely the side of the awning stays cooler than the side without the awning. That will make a difference. Yeah, for sure. Of course, we don't have that big front windshield, so we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, definitely on the awning side is definitely cooler.
Yeah, I think it makes a I think it makes a huge difference.
And I
I think.
think too, the in a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, most of the time there's more windows on the side without the awning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it makes it even more hot.
Oh, interesting. I wonder why that is, because that would be your away from your neighbor's side. So you would think that you would want to see your own patio more than the other side. Interesting. I never realized that. I'm not start paying attention to them. And then things that we can do, we put a magna shade up on our front windshield, and that drastically helps. But you're still, and nothing's hotter than the sun. So
Yeah.
it's it does help. It helps tremendously. I want to travel without my magna shade, but it's still better just to get that sun off that windshield. Something else
Yeah, I
that.
think now they make window tint now that's well, it's clear, but it's supposed to block all the UV and the heat coming through.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if that with a combination of Magnashade and that tint would maybe double your protection or not. I'm not sure.
We looked at it down in Florida, and I think to tint just our windshield with it, this was 5, 6 years ago, was over $1,000 to tint that. And I'm putting tint in quotes because it was clear, totally clear. But what we felt was, for us anyway, in a Class A motorhome, it was about a grand. They would put it on there, but then if you would get a stone chip or something in your windshield and have to have your windshield replaced, then you'd have to go back and pay for that tint. And again, I'm putting tint in quotes because it's not actually tinted; it's just clear. But yeah, we just felt, oh, I don't know. We never did it, but they did a little testing there, which was pretty cool. So they had pieces of glass with a heat lamp, and they would shine the heat lamp on a piece of glass, and you put your hand behind that glass, and you could feel the heat right through it. Then they would give you a piece of glass that has the acrylic clear tint on it, and you could barely feel the heat going through it. So you can, I mean, you could tell right away that it worked. We actually put it on some of our side windows because they were nice and small, but we never stepped up to that $1,000 price tag of the front windshield. But yeah, I think tint is a great idea. We do have a lot of the windows in our RV tinted. We don't have a lot of windows though in our Class A. The other thing might sound like a no-brainer, and I'm kind of jumping a little bit, but Sabrina and I use a lot of fans, especially like I said on that front windshield, that front dash portion. That's where Belle likes to sit, and if the sun's on that side, and even with the mag shade, it's still always the hottest point of the RV. So we have a fan, a large, regular desktop fan that you would have in your house, we have that pointing towards Belle on the dash to keep her cool. And you'd be amazed of how much a fan gives you the illusion of just being cooler. I mean, I guess you are actually cooler, but it makes a huge difference to sleep with a fan. At night, I like to run a fan in the room. Sabrina doesn't because she says she wakes up with like sore throat and stuff. It doesn't bother me at all. So I like to sleep with the fan blowing on me. I think that helps keep me cool for sleeping. I swear that I could probably set the thermostat. Well, I like it cold, but I could set the thermostat to 75 and have a fan on me, and that would be almost equivalent to me just having the thermostat set to 65. The fan makes me feel about 10 degrees cooler. Not only is it, helping me feel cool, but it's much more efficient or energy friendly if you're dry camping or boondocking to run a fan than to try to set your thermostat on your AC down that low. So you can turn your thermostat up a little bit, have your AC work less and use the fan that's going to be a lot less draining on your power system. Or even if you're just using your generator, you might not need the generator as much.
Yeah, and even using the generator creates heat. The less you can use the generator, the better.
Yeah.
I like the one of cooking outside. That's a good one because the oven especially just heats up the whole RV.
Yeah. It's so what's the term, Sean? Counterproductive, I guess, to even your stovetop. Or like you said, that oven puts out a ton of heat. If you got a propane oven, it puts out a lot. Or if you're using your stovetop, you're basically building like a little fire inside your RV, and you're so counterproductive. If you can take all your cooking outside and do your grilling outside, if you have like a little Weber grill or a Tembo Tusk or what's a real popular one now? Everybody seems to have them. Blackstones. Any of these.
Yeah, the black stove griddle.
Yeah, I know we have an episode coming up with Newer. I think that's how you pronounce it. Does that sound right, Sean? And he's got a little portable electric cooktop that I think looks great for RVers. That episode will be coming out soon. So I think anytime that you can take that cooking outside, I love cooking on my Tembo Tusk. I can make almost anything on my Tembo Tusk. Keep that heat outside. Don't bring it inside the RV with you. If you're cooking inside the RV when it's hot, you're never going. We would never be able to cool our RV down. You might be okay. You're about our size, right? 28 feet, but you have two AC units. I only have the one, so it's
Yeah,
it's a battle.
it's a battle, yeah. But I will say with those Blackstone, I know why they're so popular because you can basically make almost anything on those.
Yeah, they're
You know,
nice.
yeah, so that's perfect. And they make them in different sizes, so you could even get a small one if it's just 2 of you or even by yourself. They make a smaller size so you can just use that.
Yeah, and I think that's important when picking like an outdoor cooking device, I'll say. I don't know. I can't think of a better word for it. You want to be able to make sure that you can make anything that you want to make. And yeah, I agree with you, Sean. That is part of the popularity. You can make anything with it. Another thing, we mentioned the AC. I have one. Sean has two ACs. I believe in having your AC set to auto and cycling, especially if you're in a humid area. If you put your AC on full and fan on high without auto, what I think happens, what I've noticed happens with ours anyway, is when the compressor kicks off and that fan is still running, if we're in a humid area, it pulls the humidity into the coach. And then once the compressor kicks on, then it starts pulling that humidity back out. But I've noticed that I'm better off having the fan set to auto, meaning when the compressor is on, our fan is on in here. When the compressor kicks off, the fan shuts off. So it doesn't pull any extra humidity in here. And if you want a nice little cool breeze, I go back to using a fan instead and not using, your ducted AC unit to just circulate air. Use a fan to circulate the air and just use your AC when the compressor is on.
Yeah, some people say never use auto.
I know.
Like I've read in the forums they say you should never use auto, but that's what we use too.
Yeah, I like the auto. I would imagine maybe it's tougher on the AC to start up and start down, but man, in a humid area, we really feel the difference. I'm all about comfort. Whatever's gonna make me more comfortable, that's the way I'm going. If it shortens the life of the AC unit, so be it. For me, I just need to be comfortable.
If you're worried about, the stress on your AC, you could get a soft start,
Soft start. Yeah,
to
yeah.
make it a little bit better on your AC unit.
Yep, I think the soft start now has been proven. I think they do advertise now. I know when we first had them on the show, they said they couldn't really advertise it as extending the life of your AC unit. But now that they've been out for a couple years, they have enough research and data to show that they actually do extend the life of your AC unit because it takes that harsh start and softens it. Plus, it's soft start, but yeah, it gradually builds up that power instead of just all at once and almost like a banging when that AC kicks on without a soft start on there. Yeah, so I think definitely a soft start. I also have the RVAC silencer. Not only does it make it a little quieter, but it also increases the airflow through our coach. So I feel like we do get a little bit more cooling power with the silencer. And a big one that I don't hear too many people talk about is something that Sabrina and I have done forever is we block off areas of our RV. So like that front dash portion and that front area of the window, as long as we can keep Bell out of there, we have Velcro on our drop down bunk that is apes that allows us to put two blackout curtains up there. What that will do in the midday will keep that section of the RV from our captain's chairs back closed off, and it just becomes a smaller square footage area inside our RV. I'll even go as far as sometimes not even put my slides out or put maybe the slides that I really need to be out just to decrease that overall square footage of our RV and make it easier for our AC to keep us cool. Of course, these are always an extreme temperature. I mean, we're in Arizona. It's not unusual to hit 100 degrees. I mean, well, you're in what, Sean? 98, 97. I mean, you're and humid, so
Yeah,
you're just as
mid-90s at least every day.
yeah. So I think anything over 90 for our coach, I think any RV struggles in 90s. It's just tough.
Yeah.
It's funny too, Sean, because when Sabrina and I first started RVing or we're looking into RVing, everybody talked about, oh well, how cold can this RV handle? What temperature, can it go down to and still be okay? We have found that keeping our RV is warm and our bays warm really hasn't been the issue, and we've been in like 15 degrees, not anything super super extreme, but we've never had a problem getting our coach to warm up. The furnaces in these RVs are just more than enough to warm these things up. I mean, you get toasty in these RVs. We've always found it more difficult to cool our coach down in the summertime than to warm it up in the wintertime. But it's funny because I feel like all the popular videos on YouTube were always like, oh, we survived 32 degrees in our RV, or it snowed. And I think it's the opposite. I think it's more impressive if you can cool your RV down than warm it up.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right. I think it's harder to cool down than it is to warm up for sure.
I think that was all of our tips for trying to stay cool. Hopefully, you guys learned one or two. If you have a couple tips, please write to us. I'm always looking for tips to stay cooler. I'm one of those people that when I go into like a grocery store, I go into their beer garden just to hang out for a little while.
So now I guess we can jump into some news and some news, exciting news, I think is what I would call it. I think Julie, my wife, first told us about, and then we
Mhm.
went and searched it out and found an article on RV Business. But Harvest Host has bought part of Escapees.
That's super exciting. We really like Joel. Joel owns Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome. And I kind of dropped the ball because I said I was going to write to him and I totally forgot. I want to write to him and see if he wants to come on the show and talk about this news of them acquiring Escapees. And Sean, you're a Harvest Host member. You like the Harvest Host service. I think Joel, when Joel bought Harvest Host, I feel like he really expanded that brand or that company to what it is now. I think I love Escapees. I'm an Escapees member. I think Joel will do great things with the Escapees brand as well. I'm excited. I think you said those same words that you're excited about this as well. I think this is exciting news. I think this is good news, and it's a interesting acquisition because I'll let Sean will probably describe it better than me. But he didn't buy all of Escapees. I guess in a sense, he bought a portion of it.
Yeah, I think what's left, what he didn't buy, I guess is the right way to put it, is the mail service and the RV parks, which will remain with Travis and Melanie in Escapees. But basically, all the other things, Escapees RV Club membership, education programs, all the events, Escapers stuff, is now under Harvest Hosts.
So then, like rallies and things like that, I would imagine, like an escapade, that would now be under the Harvest
Ye-
Host. Oh, it
Yeah,
is there.
yeah, that's under Harvest Hosts now.
Honest question. I don't know the answer to this, but I don't know if you do, Sean. Are there Harvest Host
We want to
rallies? Would
thank
this be the
Daryl for
first time
returning to
that
the
Joel
show
is
to
owning
tell
a
us
company
about all the new
that
products he has
puts
developed since
on
he was
some
on the
type of
show
rally
last.
or get
Kenny
together?
and I have both
I know that
experienced the
he's
quietness of
sponsored
the
some
AC
rallies
when
before,
using the
but
RV
he's been a
AC
sponsor, but
silencer.
I don't
It
think
definitely
Harvest
makes a
Hosts have their
difference.
own rallies.
Check out Wacko Products
I
to
don't
take a
think. I
closer
could be
look at
wrong,
what
but
they have to
I don't
offer.
think so.
We want to thank
Okay.
Battleborn
Yeah,
Batteries for
hopefully
their support
I'll
of the show.
I will. I
Use the link
promise
in
I
the
will
show
write
notes to
Joel.
see
Joel
all
is
of
a
the great
really nice guy.
products
We've
from
had him on the
Battleborn
show
Batteries.
twice, I think.
Please join
And we've
us in 2
emailed him a
weeks for
couple
another
times.
exciting
He is
episode.
so
And until then,
transparent
safe
and
travels.
so easy to talk to. I don't. I'd be surprised if he wouldn't want to come on and talk about this because I think he's trying to get the word out. You know, he's not He didn't sneakily buy Escapees, right? Because everybody got an email when it happened. If you were an Escapees member, I think you received an email, and if you were a Harvest Host member and a Boondockers Welcome member, I think we all got emails letting them know about this acquisition because I think he wanted to make it very clear that it was not a partnership. It's not that he is. It's not that Harvest Host is partnering with Escapees. They actually bought a portion of them. So, like I said, he's very transparent. I think he would definitely come on and chat about it. I would be curious about if he's willing to discuss it, you know, the motivations behind it and what plans he has for escapees in the future. He must have something in place, I would think anyway.
Yeah, yeah, I would think so too. And I mean, just even the growth of Harvest Hosts over the years, I don't know how he has time to manage all this stuff, but I suppose he has a good team of people around him. But there's over 9,000 Harvest Host locations now.
Yeah, and I feel like it wasn't very long ago that it was just getting up to 1,000. Like I think that 9,000 has really exploded. That's what I mean. Like I'm sure he's got great ideas and plans for escapees. Some of that might change. It might be a change up in how we see escapees now. So I'm really just curious if he would share what his strategies are for doing to escapees what he's done to Harvesters. And escapees is already a very well established company. So I'm just curious, like, what more could you do with escapees? They're already well known. Escapees already goes to bat for RVers and tries to protect us as far as law in the courts and law. So I can't even really. This is why Joel Holland runs all these things, and I don't. I can't even think what else could you do with escapees to make it even better or grow it even further than what it actually is.
Yeah, and you just went to the escapade, right, Kenny? It was pretty big
Big
event.
show. Yeah, big rally. I think maybe around 700 RVs or something like that in Rock Spring, Wyoming. Again, live entertainment, seminars, getting together with people, presentations, RV tours. It's already a pretty big event. I just don't know what else he could do with it. Like, what is that next level, I guess? And yeah, we got to get him on the show and talk about what is that next step for Escapees now that he owns them.
And then the next piece of news is good news for the industry. I think that the RV wholesale shipments are projected to climb into the mid 300,000s this year. So that's good.
Yeah, it surprises me. I mean, I would say that I was a Debbie Downer. That's not the right word. I was not expecting or projecting RV numbers to climb at this time period. I know they always keep saying the economy is not all that great. I don't know when our economy was great. I feel like our economy, there are always issues going on, and recreational is always recreational travel and things like that, I feel like luxury things are always the first on the chopping block. So the fact that RV numbers are still climbing. You just said what 300,000 units by the end of the year, and then they expect 2025 to have even a higher amount of wholesale. And this is from something called the road signs, which is from the RVIA. This is something that they keep an eye on. I'm shocked by it. Were you expecting numbers to still be climbing at this point, Sean?
No, no, I thought it was gonna drop, but from some of the information that's been put out lately by, the aftermarket people, they all expected it to climb. So
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah, it's good. I think it's good. I would like to see more RV parks now.
Yeah, we need more RV parks. And you know what you said, Sean, you expected a decline. I did too. I didn't expect it to even hold steady. I expected a decline.
Yeah,
So, I
and they
mean, but
say it's even gonna be higher in 2025, they think now.
yeah, it's amazing to me. Is this the same article, Sean, that talked about, or maybe that's further on? No, 45. Yeah, there's 45 million Americans planning RV trips this summer. Which, when I read that number, I was like, well, that can't be right. There's only 12 million RV owners. But then I totally forgot about this rental market. And I was like, wow, 45 million people, 45 million Americans are planning RV trips this summer. I had no idea that the rental market was that much larger than the ownership market. But I guess it would make sense. I guess rentals is always higher than anything. Like, I'm sure there's more car rentals than car owners. So I guess that number shouldn't have surprised me as much. But man, when I saw that 45 million Americans planning RV trips this summer, I was like, wow, that just seems that's crazy.
I know when we were in Utah, lately or last 2 months ago now, we saw a ton of rentals, ton of rentals.
I've been seeing a lot of them too. I've been seeing a lot of the uh man, what is the they look like billboards too, and I can't remember. I should know their name, but I can't think of the rental company that I'm thinking of. But I see them all the time. And what's funny too is there's way more that we don't notice too, because companies like RV Easy and uh, I can't think of some of the other ones right now, but a lot of the share companies, the RV sharing companies, where man, I should know them, but I can't think of them right now. RV Share, I think is one.
Yeah.
Those guys are coming on the show too. Hopefully, they're not listening because I couldn't remember their name. But there's a lot of companies like that where you wouldn't have the logos on the side of the van or a Class C or anything like that. And
Yeah, these are the ones with logos that we saw, and there was a bunch.
yeah, and there's a lot of them. I've been seeing a lot of logo band too. I just went on a trip to South Dakota and I was at Mount Rushmore, and there were probably three obvious rentals there just at that one location. So yeah, I think this is great. More people out there enjoying the RV life. I agree though, we need more campgrounds. We need to be able to. Sabrina, I just tried to book a campground at Hershey for the Hershey show, and we couldn't get a spot. Couldn't get where we wanted to. We did get a spot, but we couldn't get the campground that we wanted to for the Hershey show. And I'm sure that's just because the show was going on. If the show wasn't going on, maybe that wouldn't be the case. But yeah, more campgrounds would make things easier, that's for sure. More campgrounds and better ways to reserve that campground. I am so frustrated with the, email us and we'll get back to you. I can't think of any hotel that works that way. Every hotel I can just go online and book it. I want to be able to go online and book any campground. I know there's companies out there working on it, but they're too slow for me.
And then our next article, news item is from our sponsors at Dragonfly Energy, Battleborn Batteries. They've entered into a $30 million licensing agreement with Stryton Energy for global distribution of their batteries, which should be good for the company, I think.
I think so too. And Dragonfly didn't ask us to talk about this. They don't even they probably don't even know that we're about to talk about this. But yeah, I think it's a great thing. And Sean and I both own stock in the Battleborn company, and I was excited to hear this. I was like, yeah, let's get this company making some money. Let's help that stock
Although
out.
after the news came out, the stock went down.
Yeah, and that I can't figure that stock out. No matter what they could have the best news release, and that stock will still drop on me. I that stock is that stock has not been my friend since I've owned it. It was for a little while, and then it wasn't. But I thought this was a great idea. So the licensing agreement will allow this Straighten Energy company to market and distribute the Battleborn batteries for. I feel like everything that Battleborn batteries does already. Like I don't, except for the military. Does Battleborn batteries already offer batteries to military right now?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, me neither. Everything else I knew they were doing, like automotive, marine, power sports, lawn and garden. If this company can help Battleborn batteries expand into more things than just the RV world, I think that's great. The fact how the licensing works, Dragonfly Energy is going to receive an initial $5 million upfront, is the way I took it, and then they'll get royalty payments for the other 25 million. So I don't know. I didn't see anyway, Sean. Is it a 5 year deal, 10-year deal? I don't know how long this licensing agreement is for, but I looked at this as all good news. Like, I feel like this is more marketing for them, more production, more brand awareness without Battleborn needing to expand their facilities, expand their marketing team, expand anything. I think this is a great win for Battleborn
And it's
batteries,
global distribution, which is really good.
and it's global. I'm hoping that this is just maybe one step that they're taking, maybe just kind of feeling it out. And if this goes well, maybe they'll do this with other companies. Maybe this isn't the only company they'll do this with. I guess you need to be careful of who you're partnering with. I'm not, honestly, I'm not familiar with. I've never heard of them before this happened. The Stratton Energy company, but I guess you do have to be careful of who you're going to partner with. You want to make sure that it's a good match and everything like that. Did you know Stratton Energy before this news,
No,
Sean?
I never heard of them.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's tons and tons of energy companies out there, and I'm sure Battleborn Batteries is very aware too that they want to partner with good standing companies. I mean, I always feel like Battleborn Batteries is a very reliable, very strong, and very conscious company when it comes to their consumers, and hopefully that's what they're looking for when they're doing these licensing. We can anybody can call up Battleborn Batteries, talk to a person right in the shop, right there at their shop, right in their facility. You're not being connected with somebody, offshore or anything like that. You're going to get an answer when you call somebody from Battleborn. Everybody is very knowledgeable, and I'm hoping that's the kind of companies that, if they continue to do this, that's the kind of companies that they're going to connect with.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Don't want to ruin their reputation.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great reputation. It'd be, in the long run, if they partner with the wrong company, damage like that, it doesn't take much really to damage somebody's reputation. So I hope that they're very careful with it because we want to see that stock go up.
Yeah, for sure. Then the last bit of news we have, not really news, but something we talked about last time was this new RV, the Lineage. You were able to find some information about it. So
I had said on our last driver's edition, I wasn't necessarily excited about the Lineage coming out. I know the Grand Design brand is really a towable company. They've never done motorized before, and I just figured, stick to what you do and stick to what you do well. I wouldn't say I'm eating my words here or anything like that, but I do happen to like the Lineage. I like the overall layout of it on the inside and outside. I think they did very nice job with the full body paint, keeping lines very simple, no swishing. I think it looks very modern on the inside and the outside. I think it has really good numbers. I was happy to see. I'm not trying to hate on anything or any products or anybody out there, but I was happy to see a traditional black tank in this because I know the cassette toilets are very popular and everybody seems to be putting cassette toilets in a lot of stuff right now. I am more Old school, I guess, even though I haven't been RVing all my life, but I like a black tank. I like that traditional black tank, and I was glad to see that the lineage went to a regular black tank, and it's 34 gallons. Their gray water's 34 gallons, fresh water 35 gallons. In an RV that's only 26 feet for a Class C, I thought these were impressive numbers. I thought that was really good water capacities for a vehicle that's under 26 feet long.
It does have some modern stuff in it, like it has a tankless water heater, which
Mm-hmm.
I think is good, saves
It's
some
great.
space as well. It's bigger than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't know it was gonna be 26 feet, I guess.
I think for a Class C, for this type it is, it's a see. I'm a Winnebago person, so I always go back. Like for anybody listening, it's like a View Navion shape to it, and that's about what a View Navion falls at lengthwise. So I think that's pretty much what I was. I think that was pretty much what I was expecting it to be. I agree, Sean. The tankless water heater. That's I to me, that's like luxury. That's a luxury feature. I have a tankless system or on demand system in my RV right now. Sabrina said we would never RV without one. she she absolutely loves it. It's built on a Mercedes chassis. So, you're going to get power seats and the power windows up front. You're going to get all the safety features that comes with that Mercedes chassis, the adaptive cruise, the blind spot monitoring. It's built on the 4500, which is a pretty heavy duty chassis. So I think they did right by that.
What, 260 of lithium,
Yeah,
260 amp hours, and 600 watts of solar?
yeah.
That's
I
pretty
thought
good.
I thought
Straight out
the
of the factory.
yeah, I thought the solar up on the roof, that's a lot of solar coming from a factory. I thought that was impressive. 12-volt refrigerator. I thought that was great to have. It's a 70 by 80-inch king bed in a small RV. The only thing I will say though is that bed, I wonder if you can use it when the slide comes in. I think when I was looking at the floor plan, it looked like the slide had to be out to work that bed. And for me, if I was shopping, sorry, Grand Design, if you're listening, that would be a deal breaker for me. I have to be able to use the bed at all times because of the way I camp, and travel. Sabrina and I sleep at a lot of rest areas and flying J's and casinos where you can't always put your slide out. I know that's not the norm. I know most people don't sleep at all these sketch places like I do, but I got to be able to use that bed at all times.
The other thing I noticed about it, Kenny, was, you probably didn't pay attention to it, but the depth capacity in this
Mm.
is higher than what I can put in my truck.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a
I,
good thing because
is it
less you have
okay?
to fill it up. Yeah.
Oh, so you'll be able to go what more miles
More
per
miles.
fill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with I know what DEF is and I've used DEF on occasion, but that's how it goes. It's not a time thing, it's miles. Uh
Miles. Yeah.
yeah, okay. So the more depth, okay, that makes sense then. I wonder if because it's not a very big vehicle. Where did you even see that at, Sean? Looking for
On the
fuel tank
specs,
right now.
diesel fuel capacity 24.5 gallons,
Okay,
and it
I
looks
see it
like
now.
DEF is 5.8.
Do you know what your truck is?
5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have expected your truck to have actually a larger tank. I always
And
think
I
of your
can go
truck as like
about 5,000 miles.
oh, so you're not filling to death in this all that often then. I mean, 5,000 miles is a good trip,
Yeah, no, not very often.
especially since I don't know if this is still true, but at one time, the average RVer typically only traveled about 5,000 miles a year in their RV. So if you're only filling your def, well, I don't know. Is that a bad thing to only fill def once a year? Does it go stale?
I don't know. It's heated and stuff, so I wouldn't
Oh, it's
imagine.
probably okay then. Okay. And then a 24 gallon fuel tank. I would imagine this gets similar to what a View Navion would because, like I said, the dimensions are similar. So it gets about 16 miles per gallon. Should get right around 16 miles per gallon. Pretty good in an RV.
Yeah, I think we might have to eat our words, Kenny. Here.
Yeah, it's nicer than I was expecting. And not that I wasn't expecting Grand Design to do a bad job with their first motorized, but I think for them, this is their very first motorized. I think they did. I guess they had to, right? If you're on,
Yeah.
if you're traditionally a a trailer company and then you decide to not switch, but add on a motorized apartment, I guess you got to be very careful what you put out there and you got to do it right. I still can't believe 600 watts of solar on this right from factory and a coach that's only 26 feet. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I think that's really nice. I think they did a nice job with it. I like the layout. I like the bed. It's got a full bathroom in there. It's not a half bath or anything like that. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Maybe we do have to use our words a little bit.
So, Kenny, you're going to be a lot of places in the next couple of months.
I think you are too. Well, maybe I'm at a couple more because I will be at Overland Mountain West August 23rd through the 25th. And she'll get mad if I say this, but Sabrina will be there too. She likes to be incognito for these things, but Sabrina will be there with me. She won't be at the booth. I will be working the Winnebago booth all weekend. Sabrina will just kind of pop in and pop out whenever she feels like. It's great for me to have Sabrina there because she's there and she can help me take care of Belle. I don't have to run back and forth as often. And then I'll also be at the Overland East show. Well, I'll be at the Hershey show before that. Oh man, the dates on the Hershey show, September. I'm only there a couple days. I'm only there for the weekend. So whenever that show towards the end, I'll be there for Saturday and Sunday of the Hershey show. And I'm just going as an attendee for that. I'm not working with anybody. I'm just there on my own. Sean, are you planning on coming up to the Hershey show? Have you decided yet?
I think we'll probably be up there at least one day.
Okay. We'll have to coordinate this. Hopefully we're there at the same time because last year we missed each other by a day. That kind of sucked.
A day, yeah.
But I know I'll be there. If it matters to you, I'll be there Saturday, Sunday. And then I'll be at Overland East. I'll be back at the Winnebago booth for the whole weekend. That's September 4th through 6th. And Overland East is in Virginia. And it's not Lynchburg, Virginia. It's Arlington or something like that. Or Arrington. Maybe it's Arrington. Arrington is how you pronounce it.
Or Abingdon? Abingdon?
I think you were right. I think it's Arrington or something like that.
With an A.
People, if you're listening, look it up.
And it's by Lynchburg, though.
It is near Lynchburg.
It's by Lynchburg.
Yeah. And I know I usually see you there, too, because that's not too far for you to make the trip.
Yeah.
And those are always fun shows, guys. If you haven't been to an Overland show, you should definitely check it out. Speaking of something that, like, as far as growing-wise, Overland West this year was the biggest attendance they've ever had at an Overland show. So that's a market. That Overland market just continues to grow. And my guess is that it's very easy to get into overlanding. I think it's easier to get into overlanding than it is RVing. You can get, I'm not picking on Subaru or any other company that's out there, but you could get a relatively cheap Subaru. You could do what I did. You could buy a relatively cheap Jeep. I got a Jeep Wrangler for 10 grand, put a rooftop tent on it, and you're overlanding. You can't do that with RV. The cheapest that you can do in an RV would be a travel trailer, but then you need a pickup truck that costs a fortune to tow it. I mean, you could get a cheap pickup truck too, I guess, to tow, but now you're two vehicles. It's two insurance. I just feel like financially it's cheaper to get into overlanding. But it's funny, you can go at crazy expensive in overlanding too, just like you can with RVing. I mean, there are $1 million overlanding vehicles, just like there's $1 million, RVs.
But you're right. It's a cheaper entry point for sure.
I think so. You don't even have to do a rooftop tent. I mean, as far as overlanding goes, you can do a ground. So, get a Jeep and a tent, get a Subaru and a tent, get a Honda Civic and a tent, and bam, you're overlanding. Under 10 grand, and you're out there living the overlanding life. I think it's just an easier entry point. And that to me is why I think it's growing and expanding as big as it is. And it also has a tremendous aftermarket. There's so many companies making products for this overlanding community. It's unbelievable. Yeah, they can be transferred over to RVing as well, but I feel like they really marketed them for overlanding. And it just so happens a lot of them can work for RVing as well. I don't think it's the other way around. I think they really market them at that overlanding community.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I think that's everything, Kenny.
I think so. Before we go, though, of course, we want to thank our sponsors, Battleborn Batteries and Wholesale Warranties. And before you go, I know we say this at the end of almost every show, but you guys don't realize just how important this is. If you could just leave us a review, leave us a rating, or do both. I know you can leave a rating without a review. You probably can't do it the other way around. But if you just want to leave us a rating on um, Apple Podcasts or whatever your favorite podcast platform is, these ratings, these reviews, they just help the podcast get recognized and grow. And if you want to leave us a comment, we love seeing them too. I mean, it makes our day. So, if you don't even want to help the show grow or anything like that, just leave us a comment because we like seeing them.
Yeah. Even on YouTube, leave a comment on YouTube.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. We want to hear from you.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks with another great episode, and we'll see everybody soon. And until then, safe travels.
Take care, everybody. Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.